sort of mad night is okay with me. And so long as fighters, Sean, are being match right, that's crucial. Whether it's at area level, whether it's at European, at world, whether it's in the elite class, or whether it is misfits. So long as they're matched okay, and it's not, and that goes down to charity events and white collar. So long as you've got the same weight and the same sort of background, or no one's going to get badly hurt, or it's going to be a horror show. That's what we don't want in boxing. We want that, and I think that's what we've done on GBM, trying to get them to 55-45 fights and or 60-40, not 95-5 or something like that. That's just not, it doesn't suit anybody. And yes, okay, prospects are going to fight journeymen, and you know they're going to win, but the journeymen know how to survive. They're proper fighters. They know, they've learnt the art of survival or defense in there. So that's okay. But yeah, the matchmaking is crucial in boxing. It's the biggest job and biggest responsibility of all. So I'm all for the different things. I think Eubank Ben is going to be huge. I cannot wait for fight week. It's right up my street as a storyteller.
What's the prediction?
What's the prediction? I think Chris has definitely won the build-up. Conor Benn can win this fight, but will he? I'm not sure. I think Tony Sims has got a massive job keeping Conor controlled, because he's going to be highly emotional. I think he's going to fly at Chris. I think he wants it more than Chris. I think he's so desperate for this. Could something happen like his dad, Nigel, when Nigel was knocking everyone out and he came into that Finsbury Park tent not far from here, and he came up against Michael Watson, and Michael just sucked it up and stopped him. And a lot of wise people within the trade are telling me Conor wins rounds, but then Chris wins the night by just staying out of trouble and picking him off. And maybe his heart rules his head a bit, Conor. However, I think Conor at the weight will be better than he was a couple of years ago, because I think he's grown naturally. He's not the bigger guy, obviously, but Chris has got to come down again. So how's that going to play out? I think it's a pick'em. I think you've got to go with Chris on not just the size, but the level he's fought at. But that Liam Smith first fight is a worry. And, Conor Benn could do that to him. So I don't know is the answer. I'll let you know on the Friday night before the fight. But I tend to go with what I think at the beginning, which is I've got a slight leaning towards Chris in the fight. However, that could change. I'm a commentator. I'll never make an outright prediction. I don't think that's fair on the fighters. So I think both of them have a real chance in this fight. I think it's so important who is the winner on the Sunday morning, the bragging rights, the Eubank Ben name. I think it means more to the Bens. You see Nigel there, and I hope Chris Senior comes in. I hope he rides in on a motorbike on the week and adds some real flavour to it, because it would be great to see the four of them together as fathers and sons. I think that's the sort of slight missing part of it, but that's not up to us. That's down to Junior and Senior. I know they're talking now, which is great. And after what's happened to the family, you'd love them just to be together for this. It is. People will say it's a circus. People will say it's a high rolling entertainment. But you know what it is? It is a fight at the end of the day, and it is two guys that need this win. They need this win for the family name. They need it for their own careers, and they're going to fight tooth and nail to get that. It's going to be fascinating, and I really can't pick an outright. I won't pick it, but I can't pick it, if you see what I mean. And talking to people around on the trains and around the shops and everything, and people stop and they go, "Oh, that Ben's going to knock out Eubank," or that Eubank's going to whatever. I think talking to people out there, I've talked to hundreds in the last few weeks. I would say it's pretty split, but I would think more are probably going for Eubank, which is, I guess, the right way to look at it at the moment. But either of them could win.
Definitely on paper, when you look at it, he's been up with, a higher opposition and been professional for sort of longer as well. I just do feel that, Eubank is really playing a chess match, and suppose I've got another question here for you. How much is the pre-fight before the fight? Because it feels like Eubank is really just winding Conor up as much as possible, so he exerts all of his sort of frustration out. I don't know if you watched the Piers Morgan interview, and Conor Benn actually was, you say he talks from the heart. He was like, "I actually do wish you and your dad get along, because that was very sad." And Eubank didn't want anything to do with it. He just wanted it back into a rough fight.
I mean, Chris is just trying to control the whole narrative. Conor is a great guy. Chris is a great guy. I like them both. They're both very different. A little bit reminds me slightly of Carl Froch and George Groves, two totally different personalities. I don't know if you spend much time with either, but I spent so much time with Carl and so much time with George, and I like them both very much. And now they've got a sort of fun friendship after years of hatred. I mean, I remember commentating with Carl in Vegas, and he just wouldn't. George was over in one of the press rooms, and he just wouldn't go near him. And I was like, Carl, come on, it's just ridiculous. I'd go and see George, and George go, is he not coming over again? And it was just so silly. And we sort of thawed the ice, actually, on a Sky night. We got both of them together in studio, and now they get on, but they are different people, very different people. They're never going to hang out together like as best chums, because they're just different. And I think that with Chris and Conor, and a bit like Senior and Nigel, they're not going to hang out together. They have different pathways in life. And I think Michael Watson has helped bring, who's a great, wonderful man, Michael, and just celebrated his 60th birthday. He's doing a mile of the marathon. He's for the Brain and Spine Foundation with Peter Hamlin and the team. He's fantastic, Michael. And I think one of the reasons that Chris and Nigel, Chris Senior and Nigel are better now is because of Michael. And I think that's great. I love seeing that. Barrera and Morales hated each other for years, but eventually their wives put them together and said, this is nonsense. And the four of them go out for dinners now, which is great, because they've shared their souls in the ring, and they've given us so much entertainment. It's wonderful that they can find I love that at the end, don't you, when the bell goes and fighters embrace like the respect after all the sort of nonsense beforehand, and they've got to get themselves into a way of, I'm going to win this fight, nothing, but one is going to lose or likely to, and I think that it's great to see that sort of respect afterwards. And I think with Chris Jr. and Conor at the moment, they're in that high sort of pressurized pre-fight mode where training's tough. They're trying to make weight, their last spars, all of that. So when you get onto a Piers Morgan show, he's probing them with wonderful questions and trying to sort of get a great hour of entertainment television-wise. Obviously, they're going to react in different ways, but I fundamentally think they're both good guys. Chris lives his life, and Conor lives his life, and they're very, very different. But as a broadcaster, as an interviewer, as somebody around the boxing world, I love it when I see both of them. I think they're dynamite on camera, and they're great in the ring too. So look, I wish them the very best, the pair of them. I think Spurs will be absolutely on heat. I think it will be. I mean, it's a wonderful stadium. We've been there before with AJ and Usyk won. Obviously, Tyson's fought there as well. But I got to know Daniel Levy and the staff pretty well. Back when they fought, AJ lost for the first time against Usyk, and it's an incredible stadium. I'm a big Liverpool fan, so I love it when Liverpool beat them there. But I get to enjoy the stadium too. But no, it's a great home actually for boxing. Wembley's wonderful, but Spurs is also good. So I think it's going to be phenomenal on the night. And I can't tell you how many people have asked me to go and get tickets, and I don't think there's any left. It's that sort of an event. So. It'll be brilliant to be there for DAZN and commentating on it, and I can't wait for it. And ultimately, it is all the fun in the games, but these two know how to sell a fight, and it's great that the casual fans drop in 2 or 3 times a year. We need to keep that going for the big fights, because we need people talking boxing. And as I said earlier, boxing's in a wonderful place. It's at a fantastic spot now. Young fighters are coming through. The heavyweights are just rolling. You could take almost any of them out of that magic pot, put them together, and we're going to get a good fight. And great matchmaking will mean great fights ahead. And I love what His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh has done. He's got everybody working with each other. It means that fights are going to be made, fighters get paid more money, and fans get better quality matchups. It's a win-win. How long it will go on for, who knows? Boxing, I've seen it through the years, Sean, how it changes, how sort of Don King's hot, then Bob Arum's hot, then in comes Al Heyman, and all sorts of different things have happened in boxing. But at the moment, His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh is the main man. And it's good to see a lot of big events still happening in Britain. It's great going to Saudi. The Americans have still got phenomenal fighters, Terence Crawford, and the wonderful night at Times Square when we've got Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia and Teofimo Lopez, and you've got Boots Ennis fighting coming up. And so it's alive and well. And I'd like to see a sort of bit of a resurrection in America. And I think that's what they're going to aim for with HBO and Showtime sort of moving out of it. I think they really want to push the States again. But British boxing, I mean, people saying it's broken. British boxing's absolutely flying. It's terrific. And it's great because, as you say, you were inspired. I was inspired by the Barry McGuigans, Tommy Hearns,